Imagine you're a forward, there are 60 seconds left in the game, the ball lands at your feet 6 meters from the goal. In practice, this shot has resulted in a goal thousands of times. But tonight, 40,000 people are yelling at you, they're booing you. The stadium is shaking. Every banner in the stands is in the opposing team's colors. You missed the shot. It's not because you're worse. It's not because the defender did something extraordinary. You missed because, in a fraction of a second, your brain hesitated. So what about that hesitation? It's not random. It has a history stretching back 400 million years. Here are some things no one has ever told you about home field advantage. A pack of wolves marks its territory with scent. Trees, rocks, the ground itself, every inch carries a chemical message. This is ours. Now here's the part that changes everything. When two wolf packs fight, the outcome isn't determined by which pack is stronger, it's determined by where the fight takes place. A pack fighting on its own territory wins at a much higher rate. But here's the key. Territory marking didn't make those wolves physically stronger. There was no change in their muscles. Their biting strength didn't increase. What changed was entirely a psychological phenomenon. The home pack moved with greater confidence. The invading pack, even the alpha, experienced a microsecond of hesitation in its movements. That microsecond determined the outcome of the battle. Now let me show you how this relates to sports. A stadium is not just a building. A stadium is a territory marked by a pack of wolves with 40,000 people added to the mix. The roar of the crowd, synchronized chants, team colors plastered on every surface, banners hanging from the rafters. The referee subconsciously feels the pressure of a hostile crowd during a controversial call. These aren't just decorations, they're territorial markers, the human equivalent of a wolf marking a tree. And this is where things get unsettling. When an away player enters that environment, a primal response kicks in. They aren't consciously thinking, I'm scared. They're professionals. They've done this thousands of times. But their nervous systems, the parts of the brain older than conscious thought, perceive something entirely different. A normally cool-headed forward spends just a fraction of a second longer than usual deciding to take a shot. A normally cool-headed shooter senses the crowd's noise suddenly rising when the score is tight and takes his shot a tenth of a second early. A point guard in a hostile atmosphere hears the screams of 15,000 people the moment he steps to the free throw line. And the routine he's followed since high school suddenly feels rushed. He releases the ball a split second too soon. No one talks about this. Coaches don't drill for this. But the data is undeniable. The visiting team is battling two opponents, the opposing team and the 400 million-year-old hunter's brain inside its own skull. But here's the catch. And this is where most people completely misunderstand home court advantage. This effect isn't fixed. Just as a wolf pack's scent marks fade over time and cease to scare off uninvited guests, the psychological power of a stadium has one condition. The signals must feel alive. Teams playing in half-empty stadiums lose a measurable portion of their home field advantage. Why? Because a place with faded, abandoned signals doesn't trigger the same primal response. The visiting team's mind views empty seats the same way a wolf views old, dried-up scent marks. The message changes. It is no longer, you are on enemy territory. It becomes, no one cares enough to show up. And this shift from intimidation to indifference completely eliminates the advantage. So the question is, if home field advantage is entirely psychological, if it's just signals, noise, and a primal brain response, can it be neutralized? Here's the unsettling answer: no, not entirely. Because the visiting team's brain doesn't need to believe in it for the suppression to work. The response operates below the level of conscious thought. This isn't logical, it's biological. every banner, every cheer, every sold-out section of the stands. These are the sports equivalent of a wolf sniffing the boundary of another pack. The conscious athlete says, I can handle this. The primitive brain says, you don't belong here. That microsecond of hesitation, that split second, the forward waits before making a move. That's the game. If you want to understand and interpret the sport at a level most fans will never reach, the strategy, the psychology, the hidden patterns that actually determine who wins and who goes home, then you're in the right place. Subscribe? We analyze the game the way a Wolfpack does.